What's going on, my people, and welcome back to Isrock's Movie Reviews. This is episode 40, and we're going to be speaking about SpiderMan Into the SpiderVerse. This movie introduces Miles Morales, and I was really hyped to see this movie when it first came out back in 18. This movie is something very different compared to what we've seen. The animation in this movie, the CGI, the different sequences in this movie, man, take you for a loop. There's nothing that you've seen like this from any other animated movie. This movie is even hard to say it's animated. The special effects take this movie to a whole nother level. Majority of this movie is told through the CGI, which is breathtaking, with a look that is nothing like any other film that I've ever seen. And we've seen some good ones. Back in the day, I've seen Small Soldiers, Toy Story, The Incredibles, and those were epic animation movies, but nothing like this. In this world, we get introduced to Miles Morales, who is a young man who sees Spider-Man killed and is also bitten by a spider, which is convenient, right? And he becomes the next incarnation of Spider-Man. But instead of taking the time to enjoy and learn about his new powers, you see him go through his struggles, just like any other hero, right? This young man finds himself in the middle of a weird apocalyptic occurrence that happens, right? All the other various incarnations from the other various universes regarding Spider-Man come together to try to save the day in this one. Peter Parker has been, prior to dying, has been the one and only Spider-Man in this universe, saving the city over and over again for the last 10 years. And Miles Morales, he hates his new school, right? He goes to school in Brooklyn. Shout outs to Brooklyn. That's where I'm from. That's what made me like this character even more. You can tell with not only the animation, but the sequences in the movie show you particular parts of Brooklyn, and they look very realistic. And then they throw you Gwen Stacy in this one, who's a student in his new school. He has a father who's a policeman. What I liked about this iteration of Spider-Man is Miles Morales, if you're not familiar with his story, he's half black, half Puerto Rican. And that to me was amazing because you gave a Spider-Man some ethnicity. You gave him some color. You know what I mean? Black and Spanish people, we don't really have superheroes. So for us to have a Spider-Man, to me, that was awesome. And not only that, but his father's a policeman who's trying to keep him away from the streets and trying to keep him away from Aaron, who is the Prowler. Like, to me, that was unreal, right? So he stumbles upon a battle between Spider-Man and Wilson Fisk, who's the Kingpin. And his henchmen in this movie are the Green Goblin, who looks like a demon. Doesn't look like the Goblin we see in the Raimi films or even in the cartoon. He's this big looking Goblin. And the Prowler, who is Miles Morales' uncle. A portal was open between the SpiderVerse, and the story basically takes place after that. This movie, it does have a lot of villains in it. Not only the Prowler, Green Goblin, but it also has Doc Ock, who I actually like because they took that character and they flipped it upside down. Doc Ock is a female character in this one, along with the Scorpion. I like what they did with the Scorpion too. He's like half man, half machine. That was pretty cool. And the thing that stands out most is the bright spot, which is I really liked Miles Morales. He's great with Gwen Stacy. The chemistry between them was great, even though it's a cartoon. You can tell. It was very hilarious. The hair bit in the movie was hilarious. I'm over the moon with the first act. My first instinct to have Jake Johnson, who, if you're not familiar with Jake Johnson, he was in The New Girl. He's been in a lot of movies. He's a very funny dude. And he plays one iteration of Peter Parker in this. And he's better acting as a slacker, but if he could play the first Peter Parker, it would be more compelling to see the change, because there's many Peter Parkers in this film. Like I was saying, you have a lot of people that come from various realms, and obviously all of them have to come together to save the world in this one. And the other issue for me was Gwen Stacy. She shows up before the incident. The movie explains it in a way where they use a lot of time travel. But it would be better if they simply switched a couple of scenes. Maybe the movie would have stood out a little more. But even though they didn't do that, the movie was almost flawless, in my point of view. Overall, this movie's fun. It's imaginative. Has glorious animation. It also introduces the different Spider characters, which I loved, and holds potential for the live action movie world. And I'm gonna basically see what happens tomorrow when we go see No Way Home. Overall, thought this movie was amazingly creative. There's nothing else like it that you're gonna see from an animated movie. This is more than reason enough to see the movie. You gotta see the visuals and the special effects and the CGI they had in the cartoon. It was amazing. However, the film loses a bit, I think, towards the ending, a little bit. But a movie of this scale and size, you definitely have to see this movie on a 65-inch or plus. You're definitely gonna enjoy it. You could definitely check it out right now on Netflix. This movie, I give it a 4.5 out of 5. To me, it was right there with the original films. One of the best movies in the SpiderMan compilation. Go check it out. And that's my review. If you like this video, man, please hit that like button, hit that notification bell, and please subscribe to the next one. Peace.